wine at the Radisson Hotel in Green Bay. This is Locker Room with Local 5 Sports Director Bert Griffin.
The bye week is in the books and it's back to work for the Pack. Will they be rested or rusty? We shall see. Because a third of the way through the regular season, a date in Denver will go a long way in determining where they stand overall. Get ready for another edition of Locker Room. Welcome to another edition of Locker Room right here inside the Cedar and Sage restaurant at the Radisson Hotel and Conference Center, Titletown, USA. Well, the Packers are back from their vacation over the bye week, and their next 3 out of their 4 next games are against teams with records of 500 or worse, so things should look up sooner than later. Here to talk about that and everything in the green and gold, 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Packers, Niners, coach and player, Harry Sidney. How you doing, man?
Hello there. How we doing, man?
What's up, buddy?
What's up, bud? What's up?
Good to see
How
you.
we doing?
We're back to handshakes, like I said before.
Back to handshakes now. Yeah, we can handshake.
Now, this was one of the quirkiest stretches on the schedule. You go Thursday night primetime, then Monday night primetime, then the bye week, and then it'll be a road trip to Denver. We'll talk more about the Broncos in just a couple of minutes. I know people say, oh, this is the right time because we're banged up. This isn't the right. How do you feel about a week 5, week 6 bye week?
Whenever it comes because you can't worry about things you can't control.
Right.
This is what's on the schedule. Now you have to get guys ready to play. And that's part of coaching, training, getting guys healthy, getting them ready to play. Aaron Jones, he'll be back. He's rested. I mean, you're talking about rest from every game and then like two buys.
Right.
If you're not ready to go now, I don't know when anybody's ready to go.
Well, and those hamstrings, as we've talked about before, you just can't push them too fast, too soon. That said, regardless of Aaron Jones' availability, the team went out and apparently, according to multiple reports, got James Robinson.
Yes.
Now, over 1,000-yard rusher a couple of years ago, but is it a good sign when a guy is on the street and not on someone's roster?
Well, so much of it's how he fits in the schemes. But here's a guy that's hungry, that wants to play, and you have to have a guy that's similar to Aaron Jones. Dylan's a big power back, but if you're a defensive coordinator, when he's in there, you're looking at things different than you would look if you have a guy that can take it a distance, catch the ball at the backfield, do some other things, and I think this guy can do that.
Well, and Jones, if he is healthy, not only is he one of the best pass catchers on the team with the best hands, he's got that extra gear when he is right. So that offense should start to click if he is back into the lineup. Now, Jordan Love at this point, small sample size. Everyone's going to make comparisons to the 2 Hall of Famers before him, which is completely unfair.
Totally unfair.
That said, great start against a couple of bad teams, and then the last 2, I would say this, his offensive line and the play calling and there's a variety of
factors. There's a whole lot of stuff that happened for him, and especially when you got a young guy, and I say young because this is his first start and he's playing, when you're putting too much pressure on him, when first half you're not scoring points.
Right.
You're not scoring points, and then your number one threat, who's Aaron Jones, we were talking about, in the backfield, and you got young receivers not hurt. Now you got a young guy that may be doing more than he needs to do, and that's where coaching. And during this bye week, you hope they sit and they look at things and say, you know what? This is a copycat league. I saw Detroit do a heck of a screen, a fade to a tight end.
Right.
I saw San Francisco do the same thing. I see 3 young tight ends. Let's be a little bit more imaginative when it comes to the offensive play calling early in the game, I think.
Right. Well, the Broncos as a whole, not very good on defense, so they should feast a little bit. Let's switch to the other side of the football. The Packers run defense. Early on, it was like, Falcons game. And then they played a little bit better against the Raiders. Josh Jacobs is a good running back, though. Where do you see this defense stand? Because once they stop the run, they're going to have to do it probably without their 2 top linebackers in Quay Walker and Devondre Campbell, unless those guys got healthy over the break.
Well, and that's although McDuffie and the other linebacker did a decent job in playing for them, but so much of it is about, I think, defensive scheme calling and putting guys in the right place. You can't put guys in nickel on the goal line against a running team and expect that team not to see what's happening and try to run it.
Right.
So I think there's some getting guys in the right position, and then when those guys get in the right position on defense, they got to make plays.
Right. Preston Smith covering wide receivers is not a formula for success. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's Devontae Adams, man. Didn't you see him in practice?
Right, right.
You know, but they did it to slow him down, to take the loot, but who knows?
Final thing, and we will move forward. Jair Alexander's comments. Did you like him? As a former player, you don't really want to point the finger. He didn't quite do that, but when he said, well, I guess we can't allow them to score touchdowns, and I guess we're going to have to score points.
Yeah, when I heard him say that, I said, you know, that was a brilliant move. He's using reverse psychology.
Right.
I'm going to give him that credit because you don't say things like that in the locker room because then you're putting all your finger on the offense. I'm thinking that he did that just to get the offense to say, okay, we got to look at ourselves a little better.
Yeah, sometimes you, like he said about losing to the Jets last year, sometimes things manifest themselves if they get going. All right, time now for our U.S. Cellular call of the game. Since there wasn't one, it's the call of the season so far. With 3 minutes to go against the Saints, the comeback was complete when Jordan Love hit Romeo Doubs. He went up strong, hauled down the game-tying touchdown, tack on the extra point, and the Packers picked up their first home win. Romeo Doubs so far leads the team. 21 catches, over 200 yards, 3 TDs. Love to Doubs, our U.S. Cellular call of the game.
We need to hear that, a lot more of that, because offensively, they've been struggling, which putting the defense in a bind, which was pressure on a young quarterback.
Right.
That's on Matt LaFleur.
Well, one guy that you share something big time in common with is our guest tonight. Packers defensive back, not your DB. You weren't a DB.
No.
But he is a special teams ace, and he will join us in a moment. Dallin Levitt is in the house. Welcome back to the locker room right here in the Cedar and Sage restaurant inside the Radisson Hotel and Conference Center. Please give it up for Packers special teamer and defensive back Dallin Levitt, everybody. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good for having me. Appreciate it.
First and foremost, you were probably one of the only players on the roster to stay in Green Bay during the bye week. And that was for a good reason, right?
Yeah, no doubt. My wife just had a baby, so yeah. Not a lot of moving going on.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
What'd you have?
Boy.
Congratulations.
Are the two of you, and I think probably more importantly, is she getting any sleep yet?
She's sleeping well. Last night she said she got 2 runs of 4 hours. So
2 runs of 4 hours.
Yeah, you're doing good. You're killing it.
Very nice, very nice. Well, look, you guys right now 2-3. You got a big road trip to Denver coming up. We'll talk about the Broncos in a little bit, but statue-wise, you're not the biggest guy in the world. You play fast, you play with a lot of heart, you play smart, and is that kind of why Rich Bisaccia said, hey, Dallin, why don't you come to Green Bay?
Yeah, I think so. I think just his belief in me, helping me, or allowing me to help him present the system, understand what he's looking for, and just kind of be an extra voice for him, I think. Yeah.
It's called a player coach because he knows exactly what the special team coach wanted. So while the coach is talking, he can translate it and show him because he's done it. True?
Yes, I would agree. Yeah.
Well, you know a little bit about that, right? That's why Mike Holmgren
That's
brought you
why
here.
Mike Holmgren brought me here to Green Bay, because San Francisco teaching them how to win.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Now-
Teach the special team to be better.
He seems like a guy who's gritty and tough. Is it just all image, or do you, when you walk into a room, Rich has that kind of presence, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, very much so. His presence is demanding. In the most loving way, but it is demanding for sure.
What was the first thing that made you realize that he was different as a special team coach?
To be honest, that's the only coach I've ever played for. It's the only coordinator I've ever played for. So to me, it's been the same the whole time for all 6 years for me. But you just know that he's a different coach because in the locker room and the way that players that don't even play a lot of special teams, they have a great relationship with him. They have a lot of love for him, and it goes both ways for him. So I think just being able to feel that from the whole squad, even if you're not necessarily a part of the special teams unit, he has a relationship with you.
Now, even though that may be the main reason you play on this team and for Rich and the Green Bay Packers, you got a pick in the preseason, man.
Yep.
That was kind of cool, right?
Yep, living right. Sometimes the ball just lands in your lap.
Tips right to you.
Yep.
Well, now, take us back to all the positions you played. Obviously, you have to play a roster spot on the team somewhere. Yep. Defensive back, but you played some running back in the day?
Yep. I had to make a decision coming out of high school if I was going to play offense or defense. It just felt like safety was going to give me the best opportunity to be here.
You know, when they talk about self-scout, that's what they've been doing. As a special team player, offense looks at skip the field. What do you look at as a special team player? Even though you play offense, defense, what do you look at?
Yeah, I mean, I think we just got to be able to find a way to change the game. I think so far in the first couple games we've kind of just been 50-50, and I think we've played well, but we got to find a way to change the game, whether that's in the return game or taking the ball away, creating an extra possession somehow. We got to give the offense more opportunities or score for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and that's why they say 3 phases to the game. And we talked a little bit about Jair's comments saying, well, we can't let him score. But that if the offense needs to be picked up, it's got to be by both special teams and the defense, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a team game. It's not equal phases, but there are 3 phases to it, and we understand that. But, yeah, I mean, Keyshawn's going to do something here real soon. Jay Reed's going to we'll pop one.
In the special team world, you've been doing a long time, 5-6 years. What's that play that just you remember on special teams? What's that play that you just remember?
I mean, last year was Keyshawn against the Vikings. We gave up a block punt on the first one, hold them to a field goal, kick off 7-3 just like that, changed the whole game, changed the momentum.
Yeah, you know, normally too, I mean, you'd be probably the most popular guy from Utah State on the roster, but there happens to be that one other guy, Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Now, going to college with a guy who is a first-round draft pick, what was he like? You were one of the older veterans on the team, and he was still a young guy.
Yeah, he was young. He came in with 17-year-old Jordan. You could see his talent from the very beginning. I mean, long arm action, ball flies off his hand. Like, it just looks smooth the whole time. In regards to the person, I mean, he's the same. He was young Jordan, and obviously, as we all are, a little more immature at that time. But I think just his approach to it is, he wanted to be great from the beginning, and you could see that, you could feel it. So, yeah.
Very cool. Well, I know football's a family affair for you. You also got a brother in the Big Ten.
Yeah, football is in our family. My
dad too?
Yeah, Pops played at BYU for 4 years, and my little brother now is at Michigan State's true freshman. They just got to give him an op. They'll be all right. Yeah.
Well, look. We can talk about the Broncos and go, wow, that's a bad team. They're 1-5.
They are, but okay.
They're last in the league in a variety of things. What did you guys see on tape, and what do you think of Denver?
I mean, we haven't really got to the breakdown yet. We haven't had our official meetings. We looked at some of their stuff. I mean, they got good players all over. Good players all over the NFL. They still have good players. Judy and Cortland's on the outside. You got, obviously Russell Wilson's won a Super Bowl. He's still what he is, and I know their defense is struggling. But you look at their roster. They got, the 3 in the secondary, Simmons and Jackson, and then obviously Surtain. Like you got a lot of really good players out there, and they're 1-5, but it's the NFL and it's any given Sunday, so you got to go out there and win.
Your thoughts?
Okay, now. You go to Denver, the flight, do you guys go in there early to get used to the air, the climate, and all that stuff, or do you guys just do your regular thing?
Just regular thing.
Just regular?
Yeah.
Okay.
Elevation, not that big of a deal?
Not big a deal?
Nah, I don't think
it used to be when I lived in Denver, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah,
Air's better now.
I think they overplay it to try to get it, to try to use it for their advantage.
I think these guys these days are in a little better shape here.
Well, they're more athletic than these days. In my day, it was more Gladiatorville.
Yeah, exactly. So. All right, when we come back on the show, we'll have plenty more with Packers defensive back and special teamer Dallin Levitt. Time now for your Easy Tab Fan Zone. Some folks here join the show at the Crowd. We're at the Cedar and Sage restaurant inside the Radisson Hotel and Conference Center. Welcome back to Locker Room right here inside the Radisson Hotel and Conference Center. He's Dallin Levitt, Harry Sidney. I'm Burt Griffin. We talked about the bye week, and obviously you were doing fatherly duties for that time frame.
New daddy, man, doesn't like it.
Right,
He has no idea.
He's going to be running around quite a bit for the next couple of, like going to
18 years.
Going to work is going to be easy for you.
Yeah, right.
Tell you
that's my checkout time. I'll be all right.
Well, you know what? Every week we try to go in the locker room. We changed things up just a little bit because it was the bye week and you guys were all gone. But almost all the assistant coaches were in town working hard. And it's time now to go in the zone with Cameron Is-There, presented by Oneida Nation.
Usually when you join me in the zone, we're in the locker room chatting one-on-one with the player, getting to know more about that athlete, and not here where they ultimately play here at Lambeau Field. But in honor of the bye week, let's do something a little different. Let's learn about some of the assistant coaches and what they did with their time off.
I try to be the best dad I could possibly be for the last 4 days.
Oh, was busy. It was a pretty successful one.
I went back to Arizona. 90 plus degrees. I was in shorts and t-shirt.
Shoot, it was great. I did nothing. I
got up north, moved some things around the cabin, but more importantly, Friday night, Bayport got a win over West De Pere. Great start there.
I went around. I had softball games or practices and flag football.
And then on Saturday, it was a doubleheader. So my son is a redshirt freshman at Iowa. They beat the Badgers. So I know we're in Wisconsin, but go Hawks.
hung out at home. I didn't really, I don't know, I just kind of did what I was told to do and asked to do. And
I wore a hoodie when I left, and I didn't put it back on until I got back on the plane to come back here.
I saw my 6-year-old son actually play some flag football up at Scray Hill, and they end up winning, so I thought it was a good event to see.
So I didn't wash it, just took it off, laid it on the sofa, put it back on when I got ready to go back to the airport.
did that, and I don't know, it worked out nicely for me. I was a good soldier, I think.
And then my 8th grader, they beat, I think, the Oshkosh Flyers, the Alloway Bucks, to get into the, I don't know if you'd call it the state championship or the championship in the 8th grade football. So,
you name it, I try to be dad for about 4 days.
And then my wife took my volleyball player daughter to the volleyball game to go watch the Badgers play on Sunday. So the #1 team. So pretty busy, but it was fun. We got 5 kids, so we're super, super busy.
Thanks for asking, though. I appreciate that.
We talked about it a little bit earlier. Is there really a good time for the bye week, or is it just, hey, we finally get a week off to chill out, forget about football, and be a real person?
Yeah, I think ideally in the middle of the year, but you take it when you can get it.
Yep, exactly. All right, time now for our 1-minute drill. You ready?
Hold on, man.
It's all quick Q&A.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Best thing you bought with your money so far?
House.
Car that you drive?
Ford F-150.
Ford F-150. What's your go-to jam when you're rolling along?
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's the Portland in you, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And we'll leave it there.
We'll leave it right at that.
Yeah.
The dispensary folks know what we're talking about.
Yeah, leave it right there.
Who influenced you the most in your life?
My father.
Favorite NFL player growing up?
Eric Weddle.
If you could be an athlete in a different sport, what would it be?
Hoops.
Vegas or the beach?
Say that again?
Vegas or the beach?
Oh, the beach.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Golf or fishing?
Golf.
Steak, fish, or chicken?
Steak.
And where does the name Dallin come from? I've never heard that before until I met you.
Yeah, my mom and dad said they found it in a baby book. I don't know if I don't know if they got it, but yeah, that's what my mom and dad said.
Very cool. All right, when we come back, it's time to wrap up the show. We'll have our keys to the game and beating the Broncos coming up after the break. Welcome back to Locker Room. We have Fred and Colleen Wild from Krakow enjoying the best seats in the house courtesy of Viper Industrial. Enjoy that. I don't even know, is it Krakow? It's not like the city in Poland, I know that. Whatever. It's out by Pulaski.
It's out by Pulaski.
It's out by Pulaski.
Yeah, they won something. That's good enough.
All right, Broncos, and then I know every coach and player, they don't like to look ahead. We do.
Have to.
Feel like there's a couple winnable games here. You get back on track, get above 500, and maybe try to catch the Lions?
I don't even know who we play after the Broncos, to be honest.
I
I got no clue.
He's focused.
I got no clue. We just go one at a time.
One at a time. Well, we talked a little bit about it before the show, and here are our keys to the game brought to you by the dispensary, Rattle Russell Wilson. Like you mentioned, Dallin, he's a quality quarterback. A little up there in age, but still can run. You guys need to run the football against the NFL's worst run defense, and look, start fast in that first half, right? That's kind of, it's been the last 3 games, it's been slow rolling in that first 30 minutes.
Yep, no doubt. I mean, it's a whole team in order to do that. I mean, we gotta get off the field on third down on defense, and on special teams we gotta spark something to help the offense. So when they get in the red zone, they gotta score.
All right, he's Dallin Levitt. Good luck against the Broncos. He's Harry Sidney. I'm Burt Griffin. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Locker Room. We'll see you next week. So long.
Thank you for watching Locker Room.